All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of First Reaction Fan Reaction. I am your host, Cailin Clothier, and with me is my co-host.
Dara.
You're on your phone. The important stuff. All right, before we get started with book 2 of Legend of Korra, we just want to do a little housekeeping real quick.
Housekeeping.
So we record these episodes a few weeks in advance. So if you've been listening, you may already know, but we are on iTunes now.
Hooray!
We are on iTunes. Yeah,
that took longer than it probably should have.
A little bit.
We were. It took so long.
But yeah, we are on iTunes now, and you can subscribe to us just by searching for Witty Clothes, and we are right there. So subscribe, and then you can get all your favorite episodes to go. You can just get them in your pocket on your phone or your mobile device.
Yeah. What other? We are also on SoundCloud.
We are also on SoundCloud. So if you're into SoundCloud, you can go subscribe to us, listen to our episodes there. Or if you just listen to us on YouTube.
We're also on RSS Radio, which is what I use to listen to podcasts, and we're on another thing.
If you are a Android user and use the app AntennaPod to find your podcast, we are also on there. So just search Witty Clothes. We are on iTunes, so you might have to do an iTunes option there. But oh my god, I keep hitting my pop filter. But if you're on there, you can find us. We have pop filters
now.
Yeah. So we're trying to upgrade our equipment so our voices don't sound funky and you don't get to hear weird mouth noises. Funky. Yeah. I'd hear weird mouth noises. Also, we'd like to take a minute to appreciate people who have been listening. We've gotten a few comments. We already have, we're in the double digits now in subscribers on YouTube. So
we're in
while a small number, it is. We are very much appreciate
on YouTube,
all of you.
And then we're in the triple digits for views for some stuff.
Yeah, our overall view count is in the thousands, so
Hooray.
That's pretty sick. So I'd just like to take a minute to appreciate some of our commenters. First off, on our Serenity review, that's episode 9, First Reaction Fan Reaction, we have a Pablo Schaller who comments, nice podcast. I binge watched all of it in one day. The results of people reviewing your favorite stuff, though. Sad but inevitable.
Well, we talked about that.
I'm like, this person just doesn't get it. Probably part of what makes these such page turners, though, or the YouTube equivalent might be thumbnail clicker, but that sounds weird. I'm eager to hear what you thought of all the stuff, good or bad. It's always interesting. So thank you so much, Pablo, for commenting and listening to all of our stuff. We really appreciate it, even if you may not agree with our opinions. But, that's just
we don't even agree with each other.
We don't even agree with each other, which makes the show so much more fun. One of our other comments that we got is on our first Legend of Korra review. That's episode 10 of First Reaction Fan Reaction by Rainy Friday, who says, no joke, one of you gals sound eerily similar to Janet Varney, the voice actress for Korra. And we were trying to figure out who that was.
You decided it was you.
I thought it was me. It might be me, but it also might be you. So who knows? If
person wants to comment and
leave us a comment.
Which one?
Yeah,
we say our names.
So I am Cailin.
And I'm Dara.
And so you figure out how to spell those in the descriptions of these videos, because some people spell those differently. But
get it close enough.
Yeah, leave us a comment. We'd really like to know who sounds like who, or if we remind you of any other voice actresses or cartoon characters. We'd really love.
Also, if you want to, for iTunes, you can give us a 5-star rating and subscribe and leave us a review.
Yeah, even if you hate us and you think we're terrible, we'd still really like to hear about it.
I will say this. If you do hate us, tell us why you hate us. Give some nice, constructive criticism.
We love constructive feedback.
Then we can improve.
Yeah. Or we can just talk about you on our next podcast and say whatever we want. So if it's any incentive to comment or give us some ratings, we'll talk about you in our next podcast. We'll give you a little and then if we have
more incentives, eventually we will let you know.
Yeah, we will let you know. So, all right. I think that about covers that.
Hooray.
Let's move on to, we are finally on book 2 of The Legend of Korra.
Hooray.
So, everybody's favorite season.
Yeah, here's the thing, I wasn't super excited to start the season just because of you, who, has, expressed her feelings about this season.
Listen, I'm just being honest about how other people feel about this season.
How do you feel about this?
It's personally my least favorite season, but does that necessarily mean it's bad?
No.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, because I do love the show very much. But
there's a ton of shows that have a bad season, but that doesn't mean it's
So, and maybe this will be your favorite season. Who knows? I mean, we do have varying opinions.
So far, we've seen 2 episodes. I still like season 1 better.
Yeah. Oh, book 1 is a great season.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump into this synopsis right here. So this is book 2, Spirits. If you noticed, we kind of run out of elements to talk about. So the first 3 books of the first series, Avatar: Last Airbender, covered water, earth, fire. The first season, Legend of Korra, covered air. So we're out of elements. So what do we cover next? Spirits.
We didn't technically cover energy, though.
That's a really good point, actually. We don't get an energy season. That's it. I think Spirits kind of covers the energy part, though. Like, they're kind of all looped in. So part of the Avatar's responsibilities, they have the elements, but they also have spirits. So that's kind of what we're doing. So we're starting off with episode 1, Rebel's Spirit.
Yeah.
And we start off with the newsreel announcement. You know, they have the listening on. Yeah. So they gave us a little background info. It has been 6 months since the end of last season, so we have a little time skip right there. The United Republic Council has been disbanded. Instead, they elected a president.
When you still need a not a council, but
like, talking about the politics of this.
Yeah, so, like even like in America, like you have a president, but you still need like a Congress.
You have a Congress, a Senate, all those kinds of like some type of representation. So we don't really know how the structure. Also, it's only been like 6 months. That's kind of like a really short turnaround time to create an entire new system.
Does that mean we haven't even met the president yet? Should we trust him?
We'll meet him later, and then we can make our judgment then. How's that?
All right. We've met some other people who may or may not be trustworthy.
And so also they let us know that Boomy, who was a general in the United Forces, is retired, and he's just chilling with his bro on Air Temple Island.
Which Tenzin loves.
I'm sure he's a huge fan.
Such a big fan.
And it also says that Korra and Mako will continue their relationship, becoming the talk of Republic City. Do we care?
Nope.
That we'll let you decide.
Nope. I already stated.
So we have that great info, and then we switch. We're on a boat. We start off on a boat, which is actually how most seasons of Avatar and the Legend of Korra start off. This is a really fun fact. Like almost every season starts off on a boat.
Season 1 did it?
Season 1 was book 1 of Legend of Korra. I think is the only one that doesn't directly start off on a boat.
Oh, okay.
But almost every other season starts off on a boat because Avatar: Last Airbender starts off with Katara and Sokka on a boat trying to get some fish. Season 2, it's when they're going to the Earth Kingdom and they're catching a boat from the Northern Water Tribe people. And book 3 is when they are going to the Fire Nation on a stolen Fire Nation boat. So that's some fun fact there for you. If you didn't know that, I think that's a really cool fact. It's kind of like Star Wars now. It always starts off on a spaceship. So,
okay. I guess I never really pay attention to that.
Yeah, so that's your fun fact of the day. Anyway, so we are in Southern Water Tribe territory, and we got a couple fishermen. We're just chilling on a boat, and they're talking about some spirits and stuff. And I'm like, that's so funny. And then we have Spirit Kraken, who just comes up and is taking the fishermen to who knows where. And so that's our
probably
kind of
early grave
suspense. For kids. And so that's kind of our moment of suspense as the season starts. And then we finally cut back to more of not a super cut, but we get to see what our characters have been up to. So Bolin is back doing
pro
bending, and he's talking to the fire ferrets, and he's like, all right, guys, we got this one. But it turns out our lovely fire ferret team is only 1/3 of what it used to be.
Yeah.
As Korra and Mako are no longer on the team. We just have some replacements who aren't really very good. They get knocked out very easily. Bolin cannot carry this team on his own, even though we really wish he could.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out. But then they said something like fan favorites, which is kind of like, it's only been 6 months. And like, if they haven't been doing well, I'm kind of thinking like, were Korra and Mako on the team for like a little bit and then just like stuff happened? Or was it just like Bolin's like, I'm going to start this up again? And they're just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, so what have our other guys been up to? So Mako, he's on a motorcycle. Just on a motorcycle.
I did like the motorcycle.
And he's doing
it's a police motorcycle.
Yes, exactly. He is a cop now, and he has a pursuit on one of the triads. And he's doing it's your typical police chase scene, and then he does some cool bending. There's some bending back and forth, but he finally gets him, and then he ends it with a very cheesy line. It's like
he makes a pun. Was it a pun? I don't remember.
Good thing the police are here. So yeah, he's a cop now who makes really, really corny bad jokes.
I was just kind of like, well, I think it's kind of like those like 80s cop movies.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he's trying to do.
Mako, the 80s cop.
Hooray.
And then next person we find out more about is Asami.
Hooray!
Asami Sato.
That's one thing I will say about these 2 episodes. We needed more Asami.
We definitely, thank you. I full-heartedly agree. We always need more Asami.
She's like the most adult person in like this entire show.
She's the only one with her life together right now.
Well, it's not that together.
It's not really that together.
Like, there's some bad stuff.
But she's trying. Mm-hmm. She is, gosh darn, she's trying. So she's testing out one of the biplanes, which we found out more about at the end of the last season because we didn't have planes before that. But now we have planes and she's trying to sell them. But it turns out that because her dad's in jail and he used to own the company, nobody really wants to do business with them.
Which makes sense.
That's fair. And so she says that she's got a plan for that and she walks away, but she knows she looks like she doesn't know how this is going to go. So this is a last-ditch effort to get the business back on. And then we're back on Air Temple Island, a place that we spent a lot of time at last season.
Yep.
And Jinora, Iki, Milo, and Korra are having an air scooter race because Korra can airbend now, and she's pretty good at it, apparently.
Well, I mean, it's been 6 months.
It's been 6 months. She's had time to learn.
And like, I think from like what we've seen, like from like when she was like a kid, she mastered the other 3 fairly well.
Yeah.
So it seems like she's a fairly fast learner once like she picks it up. She can like learn it real fast.
Yeah, she is a pretty talented lady. Mm-hmm. So she goes into the avatar state to cheat, really.
Which I thought that was like a thing like you needed to like be in enough like struggle or like something like that to get into the avatar state. Because I'm kind of thinking like in the book, not book 1, The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
In that book too, like they put Aang under a lot of stress, and they also put Katara under a lot of stress. Mm-hmm. In order to get him into the avatar state.
Right.
I thought that was what.
No, because you can master the avatar state. That's kind of after you do all the elements, kind of the next step to master is the avatar state. Aang did try a little bit of that in book 2 of The Last Airbender, but it didn't really work out. He never really had it down like he did later. We saw in the flashback in book 1 of Legend of Korra that eventually kind of figured out how to do that in energy bend really well. But it looks like Korra's kind of got a good hand on the avatar state. She can go in and out as she pleases, which is kind of impressive.
I'm still starting to remember that episode of Last Airbender where like the Earth tribe, not Earth tribe, like the people from the Earth city were kind of like forcing Aang to get in the avatar state, and they're just like, and I remember I really like that episode.
It's a good episode. That was the first episode of book 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was like also like when they were like super pushing like Katara and Aang's like thing because like they were kind of like, okay, let's just stress out somebody who we know he really likes and threaten to murder her. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, so yeah.
Back to this show.
So we got the air scooter race, and Korra uses the avatar state to cheat, and Iki's like, that's no fair. You can't just do the avatar state. That's totally cheating. And Tenzin gets all bitter about it. He's like, what? You can't. The avatar state is a powerful thing. You can't just use it as a booster rocket. And Korra argues with Tenzin because she's like, I can do whatever I want. And Tenzin's like, can't just do whatever you want. And so you can tell they're kind of at odds here. But kind of
Tenzin's right though. You can't do whatever you want.
Yeah. So we're kind of rehashing that kind of struggle that.
Oh yeah,
Tenzin
we are.
And Korra,
like what the heck?
Tenzin and Korra had in the last season, where Korra is a very like modern and like what's the word I'm looking for? She's just have a kind of modern view, and she's very act now, think later kind of person. Tenzin's he's a very traditional.
Yeah, like, and he's even going to think like, yeah, like you learned stuff like in the Korra way, now you got to learn the traditional way. And I'm like, but I thought we already solved this.
Wait, I thought we already talked about this in the last book, but apparently we're just going to bring that back up again.
I'm starting to get the feeling because like we said, like book 1 was just supposed to be like that was it, and it's kind of like once they got like the okay to do book 2, they were kind of like, oh, we don't have anything.
Yeah, you kind of have to bring up some of those conflicts because you don't really have.
Or you could just create new ones.
What kind of silly writing idea is that?
Man.
That's ridiculous. So Tenzin has plans to do this trip. He's going to go to all the air temples, and they're going to learn all the spiritual stuff, and that sounds like fun, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing.
I mean, it sounds like a nice vacay.
It's a nice vacation. Vacation Tenzin. Before they do that, though, they're going to go down to the Southern Water Tribe for their Glacier Spirits Festival.
Woo!
Hey,
party!
It's basically like a giant carnival.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is a lot of fun. So on the way to the Southern Water Tribe, we have a little Korra and Mako interaction here, and you can kind of see where their relationship is.
This one I didn't mind.
Okay, and so yeah, Mako talks about he's being kind of a dork. He's like, yeah, kind of wrote. He literally wrote
Yeah, I
down
like that.
some of his responses.
Like, that was cute.
To it. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cute. That was like, okay, Mako, we'll give you that one.
A whole point to Mako.
A whole point for being kind of a dork.
Yeah,
we appreciate that. We appreciate you.
Well, they've been like a couple for a whole 6 months now.
Whole 6 months,
which in teenage years is like 5 years.
Which is like so long, even though they're like not that young, really.
Well, she's 17.
Yeah,
that still counts.
He's like 18 or 19 though, so he's like
still like I'm pretty
he
sure
acts like a teenager.
I'm pretty sure I didn't get like my shit together till I was at least like 22.
That's very true. Speaking as currently a 22-year-old. So yeah, Mako's talking about his time as a cop and that maybe he'll get promoted to detective soon. And then Korra is like, "Oh man, I am so jealous because Tenzin is like getting on my case." And Mako's like, well, maybe he's just trying to help you. And then and then she gets frustrated and then she storms off. And then you're like, okay, all right.
Which, like, I think that leads up to another point that comes up later.
Yes.
About just, like, somebody giving up, like, somebody saying their opinion on something. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up later.
All right, so we finally get to the Sun and Water tribe. And so then we also meet the third child of Aang Katara, Kaya.
I like Kaya.
Kaya, yeah. So if you want to know where the name Kaya comes from, it's actually the name of Katara's mother.
Oh, cool.
And on a meta sense, it was actually Kaya was the original name of Katara in the original pilot of Avatar.
Oh, and then they changed it to Katara?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
So, and we know that Bumi comes from King of Omashu.
Oh,
the crazy guy. Yeah. So
what does Tenzin come from then? Nothing?
Well, that's kind of meta because Aang's mentor was in the Air Nomads was Gyatso, Monk Gyatso. Mm-hmm. Tenzin Gyatso is the name of the Dalai Lama. So it kind of comes from Gyatso. Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
So now we know where those names come from.
Hooray!
I got some fun fact of the day. So all three children are reunited and they start to tease each other and be just like your standard siblings.
Yeah.
And so then we meet.
I will say this, like they all seem, because like Tenzin's like the most like straight-laced of all of them.
Yes.
And then Bumi and Kaya are just kind of like fun and like hippy-dippy. And they just like bully the hell out of Tenzin.
They do.
And I like it.
Great.
It's just like Tenzin set the stick in the mud. Yeah. It's like, it's nice to like see just like some nice hippie people.
I feel like you can tell that we are older siblings ourselves because we're like, yeah, gang up on the younger one.
Oh no, I'm just saying I think it's funny.
Oh yeah, it is really funny. I really like their sibling dynamic there. It's good.
It seems like Bumi and Kaya kind of like got more along, like growing up.
Yeah. And I think we'll probably hear more about that as we go along.
Okay.
Probably. Well, even in the next episode, you saw a little bit of that. We'll get to that when we get there. Mm-hmm. We also are reunited with Korra's parents.
Hooray!
And Tonrak is her dad. Senna's mom. Was Senna there? I have no idea.
She was there for a little bit.
She was there. She doesn't. Yeah.
She didn't do much.
She didn't really do much. We're kind of more focusing on Korra's dad, Tonrak.
Because reasons.
Yeah, there's a huge crowd at the docks, and they're like, what is this crowd here for? And we actually have some visitors coming from the northern tribe down to the southern tribe, who is the chief of the northern tribe, whose name is Unalaq, and his kids, who are twins, Desna and Eska. And Bolin is like, hey, who are the twins there? And she's like, one of them's a dude, bro. And he's like, oh.
Which one's the dude?
Which one's the guy?
We should also mention, what's his name? Unalaq?
Yeah, I wanted to see if that was revealed at this part.
Yeah, it was.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
And so then we find out that Tonrak and Unalaq are brothers.
Which, like, I was wondering, because they were drawn very similarly.
Yes.
And I wasn't sure if they just, like, did that by accident.
Right.
Or, like, they were going to, like, set up the siblings.
It was very purposeful.
Yeah. So I was about to say something like, why did they draw them so similarly? Like, that's not going to help. And then you're like, oh, they're siblings. Okay.
Yes, they are siblings. And so you can say there's some tension there.
Which I also
there's some tension there. And you got to wonder what's going down. You got to wonder why one of them's living in the north, one of them's living in the south. There's a lot to talk about here.
I didn't really think about that because like the northern and the southern tribe are technically two different tribes.
Yeah.
That was.
They're like sister tribes, but they're really not. They really both have their own kind of cultures, and you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say also, I don't really like Unalaq.
Yeah, I don't think does anybody ever like Unalaq?
Here's
There's
the
something
thing.
about him. Here's a little shift.
Here's the thing. He is also a stick in the mud, like Tenzin.
Yes.
But unlike Tenzin can also like have like his like over the top funny moments.
Yeah.
And he actually feels like a person.
Yes.
And Unalaq is just a stick in the mud.
He's
not fun.
Exactly. So, we're at the carnival now, and
he's all like,
and he's like, this festival used to be about meditation and being all spiritual and not eating food.
Oh my God, Unalaq the hipster.
And Unalaq, you can't, buddy. This is a cultural moment.
He's like a hipster.
Can't be pretentious about it. You just
yeah.
Gotta. Also, side note, I really love actually the setting of the carnival.
Yeah, me too.
It just looked. I really the setting is just done so well because it reminds you of like a modern carnival, but it still has those kind of like its own kind of water tribe spin.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like when I was in London and like during the holidays at Hyde Park, they have like a big carnival there, and it kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah,
just like all this like fun stuff you could do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was fun. And also just like the cartoon Aang and the cute little Appa stuffed animal was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was lovely. And I loved it. So, but then you got Unalaq, Tenzin, and Unalaq just being a bunch of, getting kind of tension on. I don't really care about that part.
Okay. I don't really remember it.
I know, right? It's like, because it was a pretty, like, just conversation. You can tell, like, everyone's kind of button heads right now, and Korra's kind of looking for a way out, and Tenzin's like, we have to do this the traditional way, and Unalaq's like, yeah, do this the traditional way, and Unalaq's like, okay, but I'm a lot cooler, right?
But does her dad, like, want her to do it the traditional way, or does he just not want her to go with Unalaq?
He just doesn't want her to go with Unalaq, so he's probably trying to say that in every other way possible, except being like, hey, I don't really like my bro here.
Who does?
The answer is no one.
Well, I think Korra kind of does. Because kind of like, oh, look, something different. Korra, I feel like if Korra lived in like our times, she'd probably be a bit diagnosed with ADHD. Because like once she gets bored of something, she's like, okay, let's go find the next thing.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen, then she gets mad.
So we change scenes, and we are now back to Asami and Bolin, who are getting ready to meet Varric.
And are just friends.
And they're totally just friends. I know, because you were looking at me, you're like, is it, because the way it was framed, I think, the way this scene
I don't think, like, the way it was framed, it was kind of like you could see it going one way or the other.
Yeah,
but the way the show's been going.
The way the show's been going, literally everybody just gets together with everyone. Let's be very honest here. If you just put two people next to each other, you're like, is something going on here?
So we meet the artist formerly known as Varric.
You compared him to Prince.
He looked like Prince.
Most people compare him to Howard Hughes. He's a very Howard Hughes-esque character.
I don't really know what Howard... I guess I know a little bit about Howard Hughes. I guess,
Yeah.
I saw more Prince.
Not like looks-wise, just like the type of character he is.
I guess.
Well, think about it.
I don't know a ton about Howard Hughes, honestly.
Yeah.
I know a little bit.
You saw The Aviator, right?
I saw some of it.
That's okay.
But he did not look like Leonardo DiCaprio.
So we're going to meet Varric, who Asami thinks he has the power to save the company because he's a very rich businessman.
Yes.
And he's got some connections here. Maybe he can help us out. And then she basically uses Bolin as her assistant and to be kind of seen, not heard. So we walk in, we kind of already know who Varric is because he's really excited because he thinks he's levitating, and he's not.
And nobody's saying anything.
He's not, and everybody's like clapping like, oh yeah, because nobody wants to upset this guy because he's rich and has a lot of money, and everybody wants to be his friend, even though he's crazy.
And Bolin, being Bolin
is like, you weren't levitating at all. And Asami's like, oh god, everything is done for it. But Varric respects that.
He does. I appreciated that.
Varric's like, what? Now I look crazy. And he fires one of his assistants. Mm-hmm. And then so he starts going off on one of his crazy business schemes. His next big venture is moving pictures.
Which already exist?
Moving pictures did not already exist. No.
But like they had the projector and they said,
well, that was like the start of it. So this was the equivalent of the
no, but moving pictures do exist. We've seen the recaps.
On last episode of Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
But that was a callback to one of the very first clips, and I forget, like the very first like movies.
Like the train one?
I'm not sure it's the train. I think there was another one with an animal or something.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, I know. I'm like trying to think back to...
I took a history of film class, and I only remember like the movie, the train, like that one where it's like a train and the people got terrified because they thought the train was going to like come kill them.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure if that was a callback to the trainer or another one. But he's like, that we don't need to use moving pictures just to show this ostrich horses running. We can do drama, adventure, like tell a story. And
well, then he shows a lady.
Then he shows this lady whose name is Ginger. She's got a...
Wait, your name's Ginger?
Yes, it is.
That's such a weird name in the Avatar universe.
Yes, it is. I think that's like probably a stage name.
Okay.
We're just gonna say that's a stage name. And she's got some lovely dyed hair, and she's gonna be a movie star, mover star. And so Asami's like, hey, that's really cool and all, but also my company is about to go under. So do you think you could help me out? And so then they have a quick stare off.
Yep.
Asami wins, and so that business deal, bam, right there.
Hooray.
And that's how all business ventures work.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So that's that scene. And then Asami's like, oh yeah, Bolin, thanks, man. And then she gives him a hug. Then that looked really shippy, but we're gonna...
I could see the two ways. Like, it could seem shippy or it could just seem like, oh, you're like my best friend. Hug.
Yeah. So that was cute.
Also, I think it'd be weird if like,
nice
oh yeah,
way.
now I'm gonna date the brother of the guy who left me for the Avatar. You know what?
Korra kind of did that low key.
I'm gonna bring this up just because I didn't think I'm not sure if it's gonna come up later, but like, are we gonna have like any repercussions for the Mako Korra Asami thing? Because like Asami did not like really have any contact with Korra or Mako in the last two episodes. So like, is there gonna be?
That's a really good question.
Is there a thing?
That's a really good question. We're gonna find out later.
All right.
And so then we go back and they're having a nice royal feast. Unalaq gets to talk. He's like, I'm tired of all this ridiculous stuff. Let's go back to like the spirituality of it all. And
I'm like, fuck you, Unalaq. Nobody likes you.
Boring, and nobody likes you, Unalaq. No, nobody likes you.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna change that in the future. And Korra, so they're talking a little more, and Korra finds out that actually the reason she was in the Southern Water Tribe her entire life and being watched by the White Lotus wasn't actually Aang's idea.
Yeah.
That was a reveal there. It was actually Tenzin and Tonrak's idea, because they're like, yo, it's not safe out there. You're just gonna stay here for like ever. Cool.
That's a weird reveal.
Yeah, and she's pretty upset about that. Understandably.
I have concerns about this reveal. It seems weird.
It is very weird.
Like, I guess it makes sense. Like, I would not want to do that. Like, not would say like, oh no, like let her travel the world. She needs to know this stuff.
I mean, Aang was a nomad. He was an air nomad. It'd be weird for him to ask for somebody to be like, yo, stay put your entire life.
I have another point.
Yes, please.
Wouldn't Katara have said something about that? Like, once they say, oh, we're going to keep her here?
I feel like Katara's whole MO at this point is, I am too old for this shit.
No, but like when she was like, when they found out, they could have said something. And like, at this point, was there any danger? Like, we already dealt, like, the danger thing didn't pop up for her. Like,
this is a point that gets explored, like, later on in the series. Mm-hmm. So I may hold your questions for later, but those are some good questions.
Okay.
Those are some good questions.
Because if there was danger, then Korra's gonna feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
She's still like in her like hormonal teenage kind of thing.
Oh gosh, she's very much a hormonal teenager right now.
Like if she grows up within like the next couple seasons, I'm gonna be like, okay, fine, I'm gonna forgive this. But like, it's starting to get annoying.
You can tell I feel like they kind of regressed the character a little bit here. They're kind of like, okay, you really matured by the end of last season, but also we have 3 more seasons of this, so step back.
Ugh, God. Anyway,
I don't know. That's a personal opinion. Maybe that's not the case, but that's what it looks like to some of us. So, and then also at the dinner, Tenzin is eating with siblings, and they're all giving him crap for just being him. And Katara looks sad. She's like, "Children, why can't we just get along? Just get along."
I didn't feel like it wasn't like arguments. It was kind of just like
siblings being siblings.
Yeah. Like at this point, like when you think like Katara be used to this,
you think.
Also, I do kind of like the fact that like it's not like the two people who have like bending powers like going against the guy who doesn't have bending powers. It's like the older ones going against the younger ones. Yeah, and like the ones like Bumi and Kai are the most similar.
Yeah,
which I like. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. And so then after dinner, Bolin, Mako, and Korra, they're just walking around the festival, and there's like the scene with like the cotton candy, and we're like, okay, we get it.
Also, you're right in front of Bolin. Do you not remember this love angle?
Bolin's face, I don't think he cares anymore, but he's just like, all right.
Which is weird that he doesn't care considering what you've told me about, not told me like what's going to happen, but like stuff that's going to come up.
I don't think I mentioned.
You mentioned that like there might be, like I'd mentioned like are they going to bring up the love?
No, it's I think I don't want to say it.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, but anyway, so because Bolin, he doesn't really care because he's kind of interested in this lady over here, this weird broody lady who is Desna and Eska. Just Eska, not
Which one's the
Desna.
girl?
Eska's the girl.
Okay.
And so he tries to go up and talk to him, and he's being Bolin. So he's being kind of a dork about it. And
Desna and Eska are kind of like not like Bolin and not like any of them in that they don't have.
She doesn't like anyone. They don't. Neither of them.
They probably like each
anyone.
other. Like
What?
a sibling. Like, I bet it's like siblings. Like they like each other's like person.
Yeah, sure. I think they probably tolerate.
Oh, that's
each other.
gonna get worse than no, we're not gonna get to that.
So anyway, Eska is like, Eska like I think she warms up to him a little bit.
Oh, should we
She's
mention
like,
the voice actors for?
Oh yeah, well because we were talking about voice actors a little
Like
bit.
the guy sounded familiar, and so did the girl. And then you told me the girl was Aubrey Plaza.
Yes,
and I'm like, that makes
Eska
perfect.
is voiced by Aubrey Plaza,
Which makes perfect sense.
which really does. It just makes. Let me check real quick who does this voice actors because I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm just like, oh yeah, that sounds like Aubrey Plaza. And then it like, I think most of Aubrey Plaza's roles are just kind of like the not like much emotion and just kind of like
This is a very typical Aubrey Plaza kind
like
of role.
sullen role. Granted, like her role in Legion's is a bit different. So
I still have to watch.
I gotta finish that show.
I still gotta just start it. I have it recorded. I just haven't.
As
watched
it's
it.
probably still on demand, and if it's at back, it's probably gonna go on Netflix.
Aaron Himmelstein?
No,
Himmelstein?
no, I don't know him.
I don't. What is he in? He was in Austin Powers. He played a younger version of Austin Powers in the film Goldmember.
Yeah, that was like the one I didn't see.
Okay. Oh, other credits. It's in Community, House.
Probably it's like a guest spot in House. I wouldn't remember.
Honestly.
So he's been in stuff.
Yeah. So probably not as well known as Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
Sorry to say, but it's true. That's who we knew.
Yeah.
Better.
But anyway, Bolin tries to hit on her.
And it kind of works.
Kind of.
And
I feel like she just has never had anybody hit on her.
yeah, she's probably not approached a lot in the Northern Water Tribe. One, because they're kind of royalty in a sense. And two, because they're very scary looking.
They're very standoffish. And I feel like Bolin does not know what he's getting himself into.
Oh, I think that's
Yeah.
safe to say with literally anything that Bolin does.
Well, Bolin just went up to her because, I don't know, did he think that she was pretty or was she just kind of like, I want a girl after all that debacle?
I think he genuinely probably thought she was pretty, and then just didn't know what he was getting himself into.
Yeah.
And she's like, you amuse me, win me prizes, and you're like, oh, okay, that's totally a healthy way to do that. And so Mako and Korra, they start talking again, which is just bad for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Because they can't.
They can't really. They're not great at the whole.
Mako doesn't know how to talk to a lady, how to
Which
be a
is weird
supportive
because he was
boyfriend.
quite. I felt like he was like pretty decent with Asami.
I think he's pretty charming. I think he just doesn't know how to deal with having the Avatar as a girlfriend. I'm not sure many of us would understand what that
Why
was
he was
like.
better off with Asami. Anyway.
Because Mako's like Korra's like, oh man, I'm so annoyed, blah 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 blah, and Mako's like, I support you, and then
Okay, yeah, that part.
Korra's like, really, and he's like, I don't really know, but I'm supposed to support you, I think, and then Korra gets mad, and she's like, you don't get it.
You know what?
honey.
No, I'm gonna say this. I'm on Korra's side for this.
Okay,
This got
please
me like
explain.
highly irritated. I'm on Korra's side for this because you know what she wanted? She wanted an opinion. She wanted a different opinion,
Right?
Because she didn't know what to do. And when you don't know what to do in a certain situation, yes, obviously the final choice is yours, but you want other people who you care about. You want their opinion.
Yep.
So, yeah. That got me so mad. I'm just like, I guess like I'm a bit mad at Korra too because you know I forget if Korra said this. She just like, no, just give me your opinion.
Right.
I don't know if she said that or not. Or like said something like that.
See, I think she said something like that, and you're like,
She's like, I support you in whatever you want to do, and I'm like, what do you think I
you're
should?
supposed to be a little more.
It's not like upsetting or anything. If somebody asks you like, what do you think I should do? Like they may or may not do what you say, but you're still giving what you think.
Right.
Mako,
Mako, we're gonna have a talk here about how to talk to women. How to be a supportive
No, it's not how to talk to women. It's how to be in a stable, healthy relationship.
In a healthy, communicative relationship. And we're going to have a talk about this. So just whenever you're free, call me up and we'll have a very nice conversation.
Yeah.
So later that night, Naga wakes up and she starts,
Growling.
growling and howling and all that jazz. And so Korra runs outside. We're like, what's going on here? Turns out there's a dark spirit.
Hooray!
A really scary looking spirit guy.
Well, not hooray, but
yeah. And so everyone starts trying to fight it because we don't know what this thing is. We don't know how to.
Well, I think they assume it's a spirit.
It is a spirit. It's pretty obviously a spirit. We just don't know what kind of spirit it is. And so really everyone tries to fight it, and everyone's losing. It doesn't really work. So we finally get to a point where, and then Unalaq comes in, right?
Yeah.
And he does a weird kind of bending thing with water.
Spirit bending.
It's kind of spirit water bending. It's really nice.
Which,
I guess.
A, makes sense for water just because, like, it looked like the same kind of movement. Actually, it's like a combination of, like, water and air bending because, like, obviously...
I think it's just water bending because he's a water bender.
But air bending's more spirit, isn't it?
No, air benders are more kind of in touch with spiritual stuff, but air bending itself isn't spiritual. I think it's just you have to be in touch with the spiritual side, and then you can use your bending to be spiritual. And like water bending helps because it's a very healing kind of element.
Yeah.
So Unalaq's figured out how to make spirits not terrible.
Which, how did he do that?
Who knows?
Did he meet a turtle lion?
He may have met a lion turtle. He may.
Lion turtle, is that what it was?
Lion turtle.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know this stuff.
We watch this show.
You watch it more than I do.
Yeah. And so Korra's like, yo, Unalaq, you figured this guy out. That's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah. And then Tenzin and Tunrock are like, yeah, you need to learn you still have to keep doing what you're doing. And she's like, no, I need to learn how to fight spirits instead of just doing airbending because I know how to airbend. We're like, okay, Korra, sure you do. And so she basically just like breaks up with Tenzin as a teacher and it's like, I'm going to be with Unalaq now. All right, cool. And so we're like, this seems like a totally good decision.
Which, okay, like...
That will not come back and bite us in the butt.
Look, maybe she can like take a lesson from Egg. You have multiple teachers.
That sounds fake, but okay.
No, well, okay. I'm like, wait, did you make a joke?
You can't just have multiple teachers. What is this, high school?
Exactly.
But yeah, so Korra, she's a very
they could have
monogamous student.
Maybe also something else that would work is like to get her out of the way. Maybe Ten's gonna say like, okay, maybe why don't we take a break from this?
Yeah,
and then you can go like do this. Mm-hmm. Like, that would have probably been a better way. I think, we
were on a break.
No, yeah, whatever. No, what I meant, like, Tenzin could have said that, why don't we take a break from airbending? Yeah. I feel like Tenzin should have said that because, he's the adult. Mm-hmm. He could have, like, brought up and might have said, oh, okay, like, what? Like, obviously you really want to do this. We'll take a break. I'm going to go to this place. We'll take a break. And then you can do your spirit thing.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen, so she kind of just like breaks up and he's like, oh, okay. And that's kind of where we leave that thread of things. And then
which, like, I'm gonna just assume it goes back to normal soon.
And then Tenzin gets ready to go on his vacation with his family, and Katara's like, hey, you should take these people with you.
Take your siblings.
And he's like, I'm taking my family. He's like, these are your family. And you just, waiting for her to be like, I birthed you from the same place. You're literally family. Please just take your siblings. Get along. I swear to God. And she's like, you learn to appreciate the time you have with your siblings. And I was just waiting for her to say, my brother is dead, you asshole. And be like, appreciate them.
Yeah, but Sokka and Katara, I feel like they always kind of got along.
They did. Well, yeah. I mean, they were siblings.
They fought but they didn't have like that like whole thing where like they didn't talk for like 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, like, I mean, I assume it feels like Kai and Boom have a good relationship, and then Tenzin just kind of like, they're annoying. I'm gonna go away. I gotta repopulate the air.
And so that's kind of where we leave that episode off. So Tenzin is going with his family and his siblings to go to the air temples, and then Korra is ready to start some spirit training with Unalaq.
Where nothing can go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong. So that is where we leave off that episode. And we are done with the first episode of Book 1. I feel like we talked about that for a very long time.
We also had the iTunes bit.
Oh, yeah.
And we had some feelings.
And we had some feelings about things.
Yeah.
So what did you think of that episode?
So I thought this episode was definitely interesting.
Yes.
And I like where stuff is going. But I think there's just like I guess it is like the fact that like they didn't know what they were doing for the season, so they regressed some of the characters. Mm-hmm. So like the stuff that I thought they already learned, it turns out they didn't learn.
Right.
And it's getting on my nerves. Like at that point, like I'm feeling like you can like do like it a little bit, but it just kind of felt like they put them not 100% back to where they were in book 1, but like maybe like 75% back.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like that's getting annoying. I don't know if it's gonna continue on during the season, but hopefully it doesn't, and it's not just like a whole regression where like the whole season just kind of like, look, we learned the same lessons that we already learned. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I like the spirit stuff though. That was interesting. I like Eska and what's her brother's name?
Desna.
I like them. They're kind of funny.
They're kind of weird. Kind of funny.
I want more Asami. I do. And
me too,
also,
girl.
where's Lynn?
That's a good question.
Where is Lynn?
Where is my metal bending godmother?
Although I do like Kaya and Boomy. They're fun.
I love Kaya and Boomy. I love their kind of sibling dynamic.
And then Unalaq, I don't like.
Nobody likes Unalaq.
I
feel like I'm not really spoiling anything by like nobody.
Well, when it's compared to like
the
villains from like book 1, like you knew that they were villains. I don't like the one thing I do kind of like about him. I don't see him as like a villain. Okay, I could see him as like an antagonist, or it's kind of like I understand his point. Yeah, but like he could just still be like. Not.
Yeah, because right now it's more like he just disagrees with some of the ideals of some of the more major characters.
He does not get along with his brother, which
he just
is
doesn't
not
get
good.
along. Yeah, but you don't really see him. He doesn't have like he's not really fighting for something bad, from what we can tell. So
yeah, it feels like I could understand his point of view. Right, but yeah. So what about you?
This is rewatching this again. I don't really have too many thoughts on it. This is just a good way, I think, to get back into the story, getting back into book 2, where you get to see more of the Southern Water Tribe, which I really like, because we really never got to see any of it in this series or the previous series, The Last Airbender. So getting back there and getting to see a little bit more of this scene where a lot of our main characters' kind of hometown, it's nice. Yeah, I like it. And so, yeah, we got a little more conflict. I think at times some of the character elements are a little forced. Like Bolin being funny and Korra being hot-headed. I think it's a little forced at some moments.
Yeah. On the plus side, Mako was less broody.
Mako wasn't bad. He was pretty good in this episode. Some points you're like, oh, Mako. And other points you're like, oh, Mako.
So maybe they kind of like didn't want to go back to that. So maybe if he's the only character who progresses, I'm gonna find that hilarious.
We'll somehow be okay with that. But yeah,
I'd be more okay if everybody progressed.
Yeah. So and we're still kind of getting started here. So you know what? I'm just gonna hold my thoughts off until we jump into the next episode. How's that? All right. Any other thoughts before we take our break?
Nope. Good.
All right. Cool. So when we come back, we're gonna talk about Legend of Korra, Book 2, Episode 2, The Southern Lights. Stay tuned. Meow. Okay, so we are back.
We're back.
That was an interesting break we just had. Anyway, so we are back with Legend of Korra, Book 2, Episode 2, The Southern Lights. Let's get started on that synopsis.
Yep.
So Korra here, she's ready. She's ready to get her training started with her new teacher, who is also her uncle, but I don't know if she calls him uncle.
She did once in the episode.
I think so.
But like I found that weird because like I don't know like if they haven't seen like I even said like even like my like if I have like family members who are like I'm not close with, but if they're still technically like an aunt or an uncle, I still refer to them as that.
What's up with that? What is with these strange familial customs of the Southern Water Tribe?
Yeah.
And so he's like, yo, we're not just gonna learn how to fight spirits here, kid. We're gonna learn how to, do all this cool spiritual stuff. So we're gonna open
so literally everything
spirit portal.
So literally everything that she did with airbending. Essentially, kind of just like not fighting, but learning, which I don't think is what she wanted.
No, I think she wants to fight.
She wants to fight.
She wants to fight things.
Have you met her?
have we met this character yet? And so he's like, we're gonna go to the South Pole, like the literal actual South Pole, which is kind of a scary kind of journey here because it's literally the South Pole. We're gonna open a spirit portal because that's been shut for a really long time, and he's like telling her like ever since.
So it's a spirit portal, not the spirit portal.
Correct. There is a spirit portal. Oh, maybe that's a spoiler.
Okay, you don't have to say it. It's fine. You have the power. Do what you want with it.
It's such a scary power to have all this information. But so there's a spirit portal that has been closed for quite some time and is literally a direct connection between the spiritual world and the physical world. So we're just gonna go open that up. Yeah, it's no big deal. That's totally gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Tenzin and his crew, they arrive at the Southern Air Temple and they're greeted by the Air Acolytes, who is, if we want to refresh from last season, Air Acolytes are
not airbenders.
They're not airbenders, but they follow the airbender way. So they're carrying on the culture and everything. They just can't bend air.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yes.
And so they're a little too ecstatic to meet Tenzin and his family because I think there's a little bit of idol worship there, I feel.
Well, they are the only airbenders, and Pema is the one who is carrying / like helping reproduce.
Yeah, so they're pretty excited to meet these guys, and they're like, "Oh, we'll help you with all this stuff." And like,
here's a head shaver.
We here's all these cool gifts and stuff. And they're all really excited about Tenzin and Pema and their kids,
but not Kai and Bumi.
Yeah, they're really disregarding Kai and Bumi here. And they're like, "Hey, can we get? We're also Aang's kids." And he's like, "Oh, you're also airbenders." They're like, "No, we're not airbenders. We're just the kids." And they're like, "Oh, well, whatever." And so they're not very happy about that.
I think it's because, like, look, there are a lot of waterbenders and a lot of normal people.
Yeah, I think that brings up an interesting point, and maybe we'll get to explore that a little later on.
I guess I do find it interesting because, like, these people are probably nothing like Kai and Bumi, so like, I feel like this whole experience is just not gonna go well.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see how kind of people don't really look like they're really into the airbender culture, even though like that's very much their legacy as well. That's their dad was also kind of the last airbender. But you know what? We're just gonna go back to the South Pole. We're not gonna look into that any further.
For now.
Well,
I mean, we go back
just for right
we do
now.
go back a little bit.
Yeah,
but not involving that.
Bit. Yeah, in a little bit we will get there. But right now we're going back to the South Pole, and they're getting ready to go to the actual literal South Pole to open the spirit portal. And Unalaq is like, "Hey, I'm coming with because I'm gonna accompany my daughter because I need to look out for her." And she's like, "Oh my God, Dad, you are so embarrassing."
No, literally, I'm an adult. I get that. Like, you don't trust this person who your daughter's going with. You're gonna wanna. I get it. Mm-hmm. Like, if we went somewhere untrustworthy, I'm pretty sure our dads would kind of be like, "Hey, wait a minute."
It's like, hey, man. And so
that philosophy, don't mess with my kid.
So Unalaq's just trying to be a cool dad, but he's not really cool. He's a protective dad, but he hasn't really mastered the art of cool dad yet, and that's okay because not everyone can be a cool dad.
When do dads get to cool level?
That's a really good question.
Our dads are gonna listen.
So, Father, if you're listening. And then also, like, Bolin comes up, too. So it looks like tensions are growing, and then Bolin comes up and interrupts, because that's what he does as the comic relief character. He comes in on a snowmobile.
Which is the only reason that Bolin's going, because he's a main character.
Yeah, we're like, why is he going? He really has no reason to go to this thing.
Nobody really has any reason to go to this.
No, but it's like Unalaq and Korra are the only people who really need to go. Also, somehow Mako gets along, and then Bolin comes, and then Unalaq comes, and also Eskin doesn't come. For some reason.
The only reason I don't get going is Bolin. Like, I get Mako going because, like, Korra might have just been like, I kind of just, like, I like this guy. We're kind of dating. I want to be with him.
He's kind of my significant other.
I'm gonna, like, Unalaq's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna bring my kids with me.
Yeah.
Fine.
I think they're also waterbenders. So that's kind of useful in a place like
They're interesting waterbenders. I like that.
Yeah. They bend cool. We'll see that later on.
And then
Bolin's just like, and then Unalaq's like, hey, I'm gonna protect some people. Like, I'm just gonna keep an eye on you, bro.
Bolin's just there.
And then Bolin's there. He's there for emotional support, I guess.
You know what? We could. You know, be good. We could have stayed back with Asami, and then we could have gotten that.
Then we could have gotten some extra.
I like that whole thing though, like that whole plot point with like Asami.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
Yeah,
and she feels like she grew a bit.
I think she is grown as a person.
Okay,
good for her. Anyway, we're gonna stop talking.
This episode's long enough.
I'm not gonna talk about my love of my life. Anyway, so then they start going to the South Pole. Korra's like, oh man, there's some evil spirits. He's like, nah, man. He's like, there are no evil spirits. There's just light and there's dark, and we all got a little bit of light and dark in us. All right.
Have you seen Star Wars? That's not how that works.
So basically, Unalaq has never seen Star Wars. He doesn't know what a Luke Skywalker is. He's been pretty off the grid. For a while.
Like I brought up this point, like having both of us seen a fair amount of fantasy and science fiction stuff. Mm-hmm. There is always somebody who is just pure evil.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. So I'm not sure we all agree with that, but you know what, Unalaq, you do you.
Like there are some people who are like gray areas.
Yeah. And so then they take camp for the night, and so then we get they talk about some spirits and stuff, and we get some backstory. We find out why there's so much tension between these two brothers. Just two Water Tribe brothers.
It's a good reason.
There's a pretty good reason.
Good reason.
Yeah. So Unalaq is actually kind of the older brother here. He's actually older than Unalaq.
And he's from the Northern Water Tribe.
And he's from the Northern Water Tribe. They're both originally from the Northern Water Tribe. So then thinking about that in a statistical matter, that means then shouldn't Unalaq have been the chief of the Northern Water Tribe?
Yes.
And it's a good point. But why is that?
Well,
so back in the Dizay, when everyone was all chilling up in the Northern Water Tribe, the tribe was attacked by some barbarians, some just dudes, and they weren't firebenders. A very clear point.
They were not firebenders.
For once. Hashtag not all firebenders, but also hashtag most firebenders.
Hashtag most firebenders. Anyway, for once in this entire show.
For once this entire gosh dang show. And so Unalaq is a general, right? He's a general, and he's like, all right, we're going to fight. So they're able to drive the barbarians out of town and into this forest, but it's a hallowed place. It is a very spiritual forest. And
that
a lot
can
of spirits
grow in ice.
In there. Yeah, and so Unalaq doesn't give a heck about this spiritual place.
They might not be spiritual. That's fine.
They just want to get rid of the barbarians. So because of that, they destroy the crap out of this forest in an effort to just get rid of these barbarian guys.
Which they do.
And they totally succeed. But the negative part of that, the spirits
are mad.
They're kind of pissed.
Yeah.
They're really pissed off that somebody would have the nerve to come into their house and just drown them out.
Again, good point, spirits.
Spirits, yeah, there's a good point there.
Yeah.
So because of that, they start really screwing with the Northern Water Tribe, and just it's a bad time.
Yeah.
Basically, the Northern Water Tribe almost loses it because these spirits are pissed, and Unalaq is able to do the spirit bending thing and help get the spirits back to the forest and make them good. Mm-hmm. But Unalaq, he's kind of in a bad place right now because he being the general, it's kind of his fault. It's kind of his fault that these spirits are attacking.
It's definitely his fault.
It's definitely his fault. And so his dad is also pissed and is like, yo, man, you can't. I'm going to have to banish you. I won't give you Scar, though, because we're not some, terrible firebender people. You just gotta leave.
We're not some evil Mark Hamill Fire Lord.
So I'm just gonna have to ask you to leave. So Unalaq is like, all right, that's I respect that. So then he leaves and he finds a new life in the Southern Water Tribe. And we all know what happens after that. And it's not, it's not bad. Mm-hmm. And so that's what happened. Mm-hmm. That's the backstory there. And so then you kind of understand why they're kind of peeved at each other. Why there's some tension
Which
there.
makes sense.
Makes some sense.
Yeah.
So, because, Unalaq got this job that was supposed to be Unalaq's the whole time, but Unalaq also really screwed up, so. And then we come back and Unalaq's, and, not Unalaq, but Bolin's like, oh, wait, you were supposed to be, and he were, and that's why, that makes sense.
I'm like,
Bolin, honey, please just.
Shut up.
We get it, honey. And Korra's like, why'd you keep this from me the whole time? I'm like, that's a pretty big story. Probably should have.
I remember, at first I'm like, Korra, it's like, it's your dad, get over it. And then I kind of thought about it, and I'm kind of like people, she's, people keep, people have been keeping her isolated.
Yeah.
And, they weren't really, letting her travel, and, they've been hiding stuff from her.
So she kind of has a reason to be pissed.
She has a total reason to be pissed.
It's understandable.
I'm not mad at her. Plus, if you haven't noticed, Korra is hot-headed. Very hot-headed.
Korra is a hothead.
Very much so.
Surprise. And so she's kind of pissed. And okay, I have a question here.
Yes.
I have a question here. So if Unalaq was supposed to be the chief of Northern Water Tribe, and being the chief is basically like royalty. So does that mean like Korra is sort of like kind of related to royalty? We never touch upon this in the whole gosh dang show, and I just want to bring up this point here, all right? Because like I feel like that's kind of an important point. It's like hi, I'm the Avatar. I'm also kind of royalty of my tribe. No big deal. All right.
Isn't like Avatar kind of higher than royalty?
Yes, but it's a good bonus. It's a good thing to put on the resume.
But the Avatar's like a giant bonus.
Yeah, Avatar's a huge bonus, but also additional bonus. I feel like Korra just kind of rolled the roulette of life and is making out pretty dang well so far.
Is she?
Who knows? That's a great question.
Have you met her? Have you met her boyfriend?
He's nice. He's nice enough. I'm just saying, I feel like nobody ever brought up this whole point during this show that nobody's like, hey, you were the Avatar and also royalty? Like, what kind of BS
did they like bring up
that?
The royalty? I don't know, I guess.
Nobody brings up the royalty
Nobody
thing.
brings up any, like, isn't like the water tribe thing like the only royalty? Is it only the Northern Water Tribe that's royalty?
Yeah, because I think, in the original Last Airbender series, the Southern Water Tribe was kind of pretty much gutted, really.
Yeah.
And by the war and everything. So nobody really knew. Like, they had a chief, kind of.
They had a chief, and then there was, like, and if you look at other tribes, like, I don't think Earthbenders had, like, they did one place had a king.
The Bossing Say.
Yeah.
Well, no, and Omashu. They had kind of like, it was kind of like a city-state kind of thing.
Yeah. And then the Fire
Lord.
Fire Lord. But I don't know if they,
that's the royalty, though, because they had, it was Prince Zuko and everything.
Yeah, but I don't know if they have that anymore. I don't know how that works. Okay.
Who knows? We'll find out later. So I don't know. that's a weird point that I always thought
I guess
about,
I just
nobody ever brought up.
I didn't really think about it because I'm kind of just like, I'm pretty sure like Avatar will probably trump all royalty.
Yeah, true. It does. So score. Also, wait, does that also mean that nobody brings this up either? So all right, you know our girl Yue from the first series. She was the moon lady.
Yeah.
So does that mean Korra is kind of related to her in any sense because she was also?
Oh.
But then also they didn't have any other kids.
Yeah.
So but then was somebody who took the place of chief, were they related to them or not related to them at all?
I don't know how the.
So it's because if Korra can make out with being the Avatar, right,
Mm-hmm.
and like in kind of literally like Water Tribe royalty, and also related to the moon, I think that is a pretty dang good stack of odds to be dealt.
I don't know. Was there like a war between? Because like we said, there's like 70 years between these two series.
Yeah.
It might have been like a war and another family took over.
Who knows? I mean, it's not really stated at any point.
I guess because nobody cares.
Also, yeah, maybe it's in the comics, the Last Airbender comics. I've only read some of those. Who knows?
Leave a comment if you know.
If you have a theory, or if you want to explain, if you want to mansplain to us, couple ladies, what's going on in this series.
It's not mansplaining. It's just regular explaining.
Anyway, please leave us a comment.
We're not talking about mansplaining right now. I have opinions on that.
Oh, God. Okay, we'll talk about that in the next random episode.
Whatever that is.
Whenever that comes out.
Anyway, back to the show.
Stay tuned, kids. We keep getting so distracted in this episode. That's why this episode is so gosh dang long. Anyway, so we're back to South Pole. So they're getting attacked by spirits and stuff. You know?
Yep.
And Unalaq's trying to save the spear bending. Korra tries her hand at the spear bending stuff. She hasn't quite gotten it so far.
She gets it a little bit.
And honestly, pretty good for her.
Yeah.
She stacks up pretty nice. And so, but the spirits kind of mess with all their stuff, and they kind of take all their supplies.
They mess with the engine and the snowmobile.
Yep, and things
that was bad. Funny.
And so basically they are up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, they have
Unalaq is like, we should probably leave. This is bad. And Unalaq's like, we're almost there.
Which is like, I would say if they were like super close, like I said, like within like 10 miles, just keep going.
Yeah.
But if they're like 100 miles away, maybe go back.
Right. And so Korra's like, we don't need to leave, Dad, just you. You need to leave. And he's like, all right, guess I'm going. And he turns back, and then they keep going. They keep going through the Everstorm, which is basically this eternal snowstorm that's going on in the South Pole. No big deal.
Like you do.
And so they finally reach this weird-looking forest thing, and they're like, hey, go in there and open the spirit portal. No big deal. And she's like, what? How? And he's like, yeah, you'll figure it out. You're the Avatar. Who knows?
And then I think Mako was kind of like, okay, well, we're going to go with her, right?
And he's like, nah.
You
But it's like,
but we're a team. And I'm like, I was kind of like, yeah, this feels like something that she has to probably.
She's got to do. She's the Avatar, man. She's got to like just do it herself.
And we,
and so.
Did Mako say something stupid? I don't remember. I
think we've just started blocking that part out of her mind.
I feel like at some point he probably said something stupid.
Let's, in a very honest kind of way, he probably.
Well, I know, because I remember there was an apology near the end.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably said something stupid.
Well, I think that was before all the stuff he said before, too. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Korra goes in, she's getting attacked by spirits, there's a little fight involved, but she finally gets it. She goes into the Avatar state, and she's finally able to open this portal.
Which, like, the thing was, so, like, she kept trying to break it.
Yes.
And I'm just like, go into the Avatar state. Clearly.
We're both like, all right, obviously, it's a spirit thing, so just channel the Avatar state.
And then I'm like, oh, look, she went into the Avatar state.
Surprise. And then this huge light shoots out.
And it's like Northern Lights.
And it's like the Aurora Borealis, but in the South Pole.
Is that what it is called?
The Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just call it the Northern Lights.
Yeah, the Aurora Borealis.
All right.
Also on my bucket list to see. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, I've been to Alaska and I still haven't seen them.
Really?
Yeah, I went to Alaska when I was like 13. I went.
Nice.
I was on a cruise.
Oh, well then. We all can't go on cruises to Alaska now.
I'm not sure when they come out, like in the winter or the summer, because I went during the summer.
I'm not sure if it's time of year. I think it's just certain.
Because I was going to say.
It's all about magnetic things in the sky.
Because, like, I don't think anybody really wants to go to Alaska in the winter. But, like, in the summer, it's just, like, literally just, like, like, wear a North Face and you're good to go.
Yeah, nice. All right. Well, in real life, I think it's caused by some kind of magnetic something. And here, it's caused by dancing spirits in the sky. It's very pretty, and everything's spiritual.
They're basically the same thing.
Tunrak turns back, and he's like, yo, my girl did it. And then Korra comes out, and then everyone gives her a hug. Bolin gives her a hug, but then Eska is like, what are you doing initiating physical contact with another woman?
And I'm like, oh no.
And we're like, we can see where this is going to go.
Or it could go the fun way where, Eska.
Oh, yeah.
Eska kind of like tries to understand human emotions.
Oh, okay. I thought this was going in a very different direction.
No.
Saying, okay.
I hope that, there's, because I like Eska and I would like some character progression.
Yeah, and so
I don't really care about her brother all that much.
Then, Korra and Mako, they have a little moment where they're like, yeah, sorry, we were kind of...
They apologize.
Start here because she's like, yeah, being the Avatar is hard, and Mako's like, being the Avatar's boyfriend is hard, and we're like, no, it's not, Mako.
Yeah, have you met Katara?
Katara handled this with grace. And so
granted, like they weren't like a couple. I don't know, like when was it like declared, like them declaring that they were a couple?
Like at the very, 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 very last 10 seconds of the series.
Like I think like within like that, like because I know like there was like that one episode where they were in the tunnel cave thing and like they may have kissed.
Yeah.
So, like, they expressed that, but then I even think at the end of season 2, they expressed their coupliness, but they had other shit to worry about.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird, complicated thing.
Anyway,
we're almost done. Back to this series. We are almost done. So they finally make their way back to the southern tribe, and then all these ships are coming, and like, hey, what are these ships doing? And it's just a bunch of
Because everything changed when the water tribe attacked.
Everything changed when the Northern Water Tribe attacked, and we don't quite know what's going on because we are left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, like, I was like, yeah, look, something interesting.
Something interesting happened.
Hooray!
All right, so what are your thoughts on this episode?
I don't know.
All right, well, that concludes this episode of First Reaction Main Reaction. Yeah. We got so distracted in this episode. We had so many words to talk about.
I feel like that's a point. Just like, it doesn't feel like a ton happened.
No, it really not. I think the main points of this episode were to talk about spiritual stuff.
You got to know Korra's father a bit, which, like, honestly, I didn't really care much about Korra's dad. Like, because, I don't know. Like, I was happy that her parents were alive. Like, I didn't really care.
Oh, we also missed this one part. This important part, because I totally skipped over it.
Oh, yeah, with Tenzin's daughter.
Yeah. So
that was interesting.
Yeah, Jinora was, like, looking at the room of the statues of all the different avatars, and we saw Aang, we're like, it's our boy.
Yeah.
But then we find this very strange, like, wooden statue, and we don't know what it is. But as soon as the southern portal opens up, it lights up weirdly.
Yeah, that was interesting.
What's the deal with that?
What is the deal with that, Cailin?
That's a great question. We'll find out later.
All right.
But yeah, I think the main points of this episode were to talk about some of that spiritual stuff and talk about that southern portal, and also just give us the backstory about why these two brothers aren't
and
very big
Unalaq
fans
trying
of
to
each
make
other.
Korra's dad look like the bad guy, and near the end of this episode, like that's also a point. Like if you try to make somebody look like the bad guy, it kind of doesn't work out for you.
It kind of backfires.
Like in any story, like if that happens, you know that they're the bad guy. I started to think of Pride and Prejudice, where Wickham like tells Elizabeth like all the stuff about Mr. Darcy, and then you're kind of like, oh wait, but Wickham's the bad guy.
It's a very classy reference.
You're welcome.
That's very classy. Adding a little class to my sass. All right.
I've seen the movie.
Counts. Still counts.
And my high school did it for a play last year. Yeah.
Nice. Good for them. All right. So, so I don't really know. There's not too much to talk about this episode, I feel. I think I already said I think what I needed to say, because this episode is, I think it's kind of still more plot kind of based.
Yeah, although, to be fair,
hash out some stuff here.
To be fair, I thought that, like, once you broke through the portal, I thought that it was kind of like, oh, we solved all the spirit problems in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was so mad. And then, like, you saw the stuff that happened at the end, and I'm like, okay, we didn't solve it. We're
right.
okay.
We can still see that there's a lot of plot left to go. Maybe we don't quite know where it's going, but we know that there's still a show left to watch.
Hooray!
All right. Any other final thoughts here?
I hope that it gets more interesting and nothing that I dislike that I disliked in the last season comes back up, and I hope these characters get back to where they were from the beginning.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Is that gonna happen?
You know what? We're gonna have to watch and find out.
So no, okay.
On my favorite season of The Legend of Korra, Book 2, Spirits.
All right, we're done.
All right, we're done. This episode is over an hour long. Oh my god. If you are still listening to this point, thank you.
I think we had some fun on this episode.
We had a lot of fun on this episode. I had a really good time.
I can't wait till the other ones are posted, and then this will get posted.
And then we'll tell everyone about it. And so if you are still listening, thank you for listening, because we had a lot of fun doing this.
And you can find us on stuff.
And so thank you for listening to this episode of First Reaction, Fan Reaction. If you want to keep listening to us, you can also find us on iTunes. Now, we mentioned that at the beginning, but don't forget, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, get all your favorite episodes right on your phone, or you can subscribe to us on YouTube and get all of your favorite videos that way, too.
You can also find us on Facebook
at Witty Close. You can find us Twitter at Witty Close, or you can send us an email if you like to do that kind of electronic mail thing.
Mm-hmm. And then if you want to, we're just gonna
at gmail.com.
And if you want to, because we're going to promote a little bit, we are on Patreon. So if you want us to continue doing this and get some more fancy equipment.
Oh, yeah. If you're like, man, that sound quality is terrible. Well, I mean, we can only afford so much because we are fresh college grads from the class of 2016.
And then we can start actually doing our patron-only stuff, because we don't have enough patrons to actually do that stuff yet.
Yeah, but if you want to hear the commentary for this episode, like the commentary for this past episode was very good. It was. We actually talked a lot.
Which technically we haven't posted any commentaries for anything on Patreon.
Don't tell them that.
If you become a patron, then we can start posting
we will put it on there, and you will get all the good stuff.
Hooray! So that's at patreon.com/WittyCloseProductions. Or Witty Close, I don't really remember.
Witty Close. Well, if you look at Witty Close, that'll usually get you anything you want. We also have links below in the description.
Yeah.
Through any type of media, we usually put our links in the description, whether you are on SoundCloud, iTunes, or YouTube. Also, give us some likes and comments if you have something to say, because we will read some of your comments on the air.
We respect your opinions and criticisms.
We really love to hear what you have to hear. So thank you for watching this episode of First Reaction, Fan Reaction. I am your host, Cailin Clothier, and with me is my co-host.
I'm Dara Whitman.
And we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.